Hello you all, I'm BlaqueWitchYaya. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Today I am back with another story. While I do stuff today, I am packaging, not making, packaging. I'm switching it up a little bit. My crystal dry rub, which is a mixture of herbs that you can use to cleanse and charge your crystals. This is especially good if you have crystals that end with ITE like pyrite, malachite. You do not want to use water on those, so you can always just sit this in a bowl like this, put your crystals in there, always keep them cleansed, always keep them charged, sit them by a window so they can get that sunlight and moonlight, or even put them outside. You could get this from BlaqueWitchYaya.com. So I wanted to share a story with you guys, and this was sparked because I've been hearing a lot of controversy lately of how barbers and sometimes hairdressers, or mostly hairdressers, it was directed towards hairdressers, are witches, and you have to be careful sometimes because they can take your hair and put a spell on you. Of course, that's just a dramatized version that a certain group, a certain community likes to put out about witches. Just think that we just sit around and do spells all day, when most witches don't even do spells. Plot twist. But anywho, so this video, I wanted to share a story with you guys where there was a hairdresser who was an actual witch. And no, this story does not take place in New Orleans. This story actually takes place in Ohio, and we'll call the hairdresser Miss Lisa. So Miss Lisa has been owning a salon for God knows how long now. She's an older lady. She's about in her late 60s. And she has always been in business, rocking and moving in Ohio. Everybody went to her. And you guys know what goes down in a hair salon. Everybody gossips. They tell you about their life problems. By the time they leave your seat, you feel like y'all just been knowing each other forever. So a lot of talking goes on, a lot of this, a lot of that. But mostly we're going to stick to the gossiping part because that plays a major role in this story. So with Miss Lisa, she's not like regular hairdressers that just listens to her clients' problems, then go home and tell her husband, or just go tell a friend, like, let me tell you what one of my clients did, girl. No, she actually listened to their problems, and she reached in a secret stash based off the problems that they shared. Let me explain. Let me give you an example. So let's just say someone comes to the salon. They're in her chair. They're getting a nice little pressing set, or press and roll, a roller set, whatever you call it. And let's just say they're complaining about how their husband isn't showing them any affection. They feel annoyed. The husband doesn't compliment them. They don't feel beautiful, all that stuff, right? So while she's doing their hair, she's listening to them, and she's putting certain oils in their scalp that will solve their issue. So let's just say in that case with the lady and her husband, they're having problems. She's not feeling like she has any attention. She's not putting spells on them, but she'll apply love oil to their scalp to attract love and to attract the love they want. And so while she's doing their hair, she'll ask them, so how would you want him to compliment you? Like, what would the perfect date be like? So what do you want him to do right when he comes home? Do you want him to hug you, then take a shower, say how good your food is? Like, she'll ask them questions, getting more information, and she'll apply certain oils to their scalp. And while they're describing how they want their problem to be solved, she's massaging, sorry y'all know that was loud, she's massaging the oils into their scalp, basically manifesting what they're actually saying with that certain oil. So with that client who's like, you know, a perfect date would be a walk in the park. You know I love to walk in the park, pick out some roses, and maybe we'll go to our favorite restaurant. And some days when he get off work, I know he's tired, but if he could just give me a smack on the butt just to let me know I'm still attractive, or he just couldn't wait to come home and see me, like little stuff like that. And she's like, okay, and what else? And what would you like? And how would that make you feel? Like, she's getting all the tea and all the juice. So everyone loved her because they're like, oh my gosh, she just don't sit here and listen and say, no, he didn't. She actually cares. And that's why majority of her clientele always came to her, because they like, oh my gosh, she actually cares about what I'm saying. She wants to help me solve my problems. But little do they know, and which is the controversial part, because a lot of people are like, okay, I get you're helping them, but technically you're doing magic on them. But to her perspective, it's like, I'm already putting chemicals in your head. You don't know what chemicals I'm putting in your head, so why not put something in your head that's not only going to make your hair grow, but your life grow, your manifestations grow, and solve your problems as well. I don't see a problem with it. If you're doing my hair and you see me complaining, put whatever you need to put in the to make my problems go away. So that's what she did. No matter what problem they had, she had some type of concocted oil that she turned into a hair oil to solve their problems. So no matter what client she got, she would ask them, so how would your life look if this problem wasn't there? Or how would you like this to happen? What is your dream job? What is your dream house? So usually with her clients, by the time it's time for their next appointment, the issue has somehow, some way been solved, right? Wink, wink. So let's just say for the client with her husband, she would probably come back within 2 weeks like, oh my gosh, he just took me out on a random date because it was Tuesday. He called off of work. He had got me a new dress. Like, it'll be something like that where it's instant. But that wasn't for every single client. One client in particular, we'll call her, what's her name? Mariah. We'll call her Mariah. For this client, she was really sick and she lost all of her hair. So she went to Miss Lisa to get wigs installed just so she can have like hair on her head. Then every so often she'll come back just so, you know, she can get it reinstalled or get a new wig. So Miss Lisa was very familiar with her because she would talk to her and she would put oil on her hair, but sometimes it just, well, most of the times it didn't work. She couldn't quite seem to get her sickness away because it was such a strong sickness where she lost all her hair. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. So one day after installing her wig, she went through all her oils and she sat in her shop all night and just prayed, manifested for her, created the right oils, the right herbs, the right mixtures. So the client came back. It was time for her to get a new wig. So Mariah was like, hey, Miss Lisa, you know, casual conversation. So Miss Lisa one more time said, so how do you feel? How would you like your body to feel? How did you feel when you were healthy? What do you miss about being healthy? So Mariah began to cry because usually she doesn't like talking about how her life was before she was sick because she starts to feel guilty. She starts to feel like her life is over because it's not as good as it once was. But Miss Lisa that one day was just asking her questions. Where do you feel pain in your body? When do you feel sadness? How would you like to feel? What do you miss doing? Once you're healed, what do you look forward to doing? She was just questioning her. And she was purposely installing her wig real slow. Usually within an hour she's done. But she was in there just asking her questions, moving real slow. Took like 2 hours. Because she really want whatever she was doing to work. And so they shedded tears, they laughed, they talked, and at the end of her appointment, Miss Lisa told her something. She basically, let's just pretend this is the oil. She said, here, I made this oil for you. Put this on your scalp every single morning. Even if you have to take the wig off, put this on your scalp and just put it back on. Just use this every single day. And of course, Mariah was like, why would I put that on my head? I don't have any of my hair. Like, I'm completely bald. And Miss Lisa said, just do it. I'm just trying out something to make sure that it'll moisturize your scalp. I want to make sure that it's keeping your scalp nice and moisturized while you have the wigs on. It's just something that I'm working on, a product I want to launch. Lying through her teeth. So Mariah was like, okay, I'll do it. So with Mariah, she has an appointment literally the same Tuesday of every month. I think it was like the second or third Tuesday. So she noticed one time that Mariah didn't come to her appointment. So immediately she started to feel guilty, like, well, did I make her feel bad with the oil? Is she trying to think I'm picking on her because she doesn't have any hair? Blah, blah, blah. So, you know, Miss Lisa being Miss Lisa, she called. She was like, hey, Mariah, your appointment was at 2. What happened? So she was like, I'm sorry, something happened this morning. I had to go to the doctor immediately. And so Miss Lisa's like, okay, well, just keep me updated and let me know when you want to reschedule. So right before closing that same Tuesday, Mariah called and she said, hey, what oils did you put in that bottle you gave me? And then Miss Lisa was like, oh, just some random oils that I make at home in my kitchen, you know, grandma's recipe. She was like, I woke up this morning and I saw fuzz on my scalp for the first time in years, and I went to the doctor to make sure I wasn't crazy, just to see did anything happen, is anything reversing. So I just wanted to see, was it the oils, or I don't know, just, you know, just wanted to see. So Miss Lisa's like, so what did the doctor say? And she was like, well, nothing yet. I told him that I wanted to get retested to see was everything gone in my system. He kind of looked at me like I was crazy, but I mean, I haven't seen fuzz on my head in years, so it has to be something, right? Maybe the sickness is gone just a little bit, or maybe it's not all over my body where my hair was able to grow. Maybe it was your oil. Maybe you cured what I'm going through. I don't know. So Miss Lisa's like, okay, well, you keep me updated. I want to know. Now granted, Miss Lisa was not trying to cure her sickness. She just wanted herself to be cured. So literally a couple weeks later, Mariah goes back to the doctor, and the doctor asks her, what have you changed in your health routine? And she was like, nothing, the same old, same old. And the doctor was like, you haven't been doing anything new? And Mariah was like, no, why? Because the doctor said, we no longer see the lumps. And Mariah's like, well, what does that mean? And she begins to smile because she knows what it means. And the doctor was like, you no longer are sick. Mariah begins to bust out crying. She was with her sister. Her sister began to cry. Even the doctor was like, we were about to like remove your, because it was getting so bad, like, but it's gone all of a sudden. So she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how this happened. I don't know how this happened. And so her sister made the joke like, oh, you got some hair on your head. You don't know how to act. And Mariah was like, wait, I've been using this hair oil. Maybe that's what caused the hair to grow. And maybe the hair threw off my body and the sickness was no longer there. And the doctor said, well, I would love to believe that, but I'm sure a hair oil isn't going to do all that. Maybe the chemo has been working. Maybe this has been just, maybe it's finally in your system and everything just began to disappear. And Mariah's like, okay. So as soon as she gets in her car, she calls Miss Lisa and she says, guess what? The sickness is going. My hair is growing. She's excited. She's talking fast. And Miss Lisa begins to cry because she knew it was the oil she created. She knew it was the magic session, she calls it, that they had between each other, where she was asking her questions. How do you want to feel? What do you miss about being healthy? This and that. And so Miss Lisa was like, oh, great. Oh, you're not going to need me no more. You're going to have hair down to your back. And then Mariah says, I bet I will with that oil. And then Miss Lisa's like, yeah, like I said, grandma's recipe. And Mariah's like, that's not grandma's recipe. And she's genuinely asked her, what did you put in that oil? And she told her it wasn't the oil, it was your intentions. It's what you were saying. I was just, helping you, giving you that tender loving care. And Mariah was like, Miss Lisa, please just tell me. I know it was something. All of your clients always seem so happy and prosperous. And I've always used to envy the energy that they came in with and just being genuinely happy to see you and sitting with you. You're doing something. I'm not stupid. And Miss Lisa says, let's just say I concocted something to make you feel a little bit better. And for your hair to grow. And so Mariah was like, okay, well, I guess I'll see you in 2 weeks. And then Miss Lisa said, yeah, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Now listen, I'm sure you guys know what I am talking about, but due to the story and the sickness that is involved in the story, I can't say it verbatim because it's not a pharmaceutical, medically approved type of cure. That's why I'm being very ambiguous with the types of oil and the herbs, because I don't even know it myself. I just know the story. I'm just a teaching session for entertainment purposes only. Okay, but she was able to cure Mariah's sickness, and Miss Lisa continued to heal people until the day she unfortunately passed away. And the reason why the story is even out, because when she passed away, her employees were cleaning up her station and they saw her stash with different oils that said love, health, prosperity, money, land, job, like different oils that had different labels on it, different herbs, different serums and all this stuff. And she kept a journal with testimonies. I gave Tiffany the love oil and her husband took her on a date. I gave Marcus the house oil and he was able to buy a house. And she just kept a document of each one. And so later on in that hair salon, the employees all were able to begin to use the oils, and they took on the same technique of what what Miss Lisa did. They took the oils, they listened to their clients, they applied it to their scalp, they asked them what they wanted to do, because Miss Lisa put everything in her journal. The questions that she asked, what did they say? She was just documenting it so she could see herself that her stuff was working, because people always call her crazy, like, okay, them oils don't do nothing, that's just your imagination, that's just a coincidence that it worked. But she was able to use her powers of healing to apply it to her client's scalp, and her hairdressers took on that same method. Of course, it don't hit like Miss Lisa's, but they're able to put that same intention behind their clients as well, in the hopes to help them. But I hope you guys enjoyed that story. Let me know what you think down below with the rumor that all these hairdressers are witches. Where do you think it came from? Do you just think it's because they have access to their clients' hair? Let me know what you think down below. Like I always say, as above so below, as within so without, as the universe so the soul. Until next time, you guys, I Shay, baby.